Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a super practical guide for sparking creativity and innovation. And this isn't just for the classroom, it's for anyone, anywhere who wants to empower people to not just face the future, but to actually build it.
So, this is the big question, right? In a world that's changing faster than ever, just knowing facts isn't going to cut it anymore. We have to give people the tools to think differently, to solve messy problems, and to really truly create what's next.
So what's the game plan? Well, first, we'll start with the big picture, the vision. Then we'll get into a really cool two-part framework. After that, we're going to get super practical with an action plan, look at the support system needed to make it all happen, and finally, see what it all leads to.
Okay, first things first, the vision. Before we dive into the how, we've got to be absolutely crystal clear on the why. And it really all comes down to one thing, nurturing that unique, creative spark that exists in every single person.
The mission here is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's all about getting students ready to be the innovators and problem solvers of tomorrow. This means we have to push past just conventional thinking. We need to show them that their own unique creativity isn't just some fun little hobby, it's probably the most valuable tool they have for shaping the world.
So, how do we actually turn that vision into a reality? Well, it boils down to this simple but really powerful framework that's built on two pillars: how we think and how we tell.
The first pillar is something called design thinking. And don't let the name fool you, this is not just for designers. It's really a mindset. It's a way of looking at problems that always starts with people, with understanding their real human needs before you even think about jumping to solutions.
And the process itself is like this cycle of discovery. You start with empathy, really getting into the shoes of the people you're trying to help. Then you move into ideation, which is just this wild, no-holds-barred brainstorming phase where anything goes. And finally, you get to prototyping and testing. You build a quick, rough version, you get it out there, you get feedback, and you learn from it. It's this awesome, constant loop of learning and making things better.
Okay, so having a brilliant, well-tested idea is amazing. But if you can't communicate it, if you can't get other people excited about it, it might just fizzle out. And that's exactly why our second pillar is just as critical: storytelling.
Storytelling is so much more than just telling a tale. It's a genuine tool for making an impact. A great story can take a really complex idea and make it crystal clear, make it stick in people's minds. It builds this emotional bridge that makes your audience not just understand your solution, but actually care about it. And that, right there, is how a simple idea can start to feel like a movement.
All right, we've got our vision and we've got our framework. So now for the most important part. How in the world do we bring all of this to life in a real setting? Let's get into the action plan.
It all kicks off with a really simple mantra that kind of becomes the foundation for everything: think, create, innovate. Now, this isn't just a catchy slogan. It's about giving students, and really anyone, explicit permission to be bold, to try new things, and to not be afraid to think differently. And you build that culture with these behaviors. You create spaces where brainstorming is active and energetic. You actually celebrate the what-if questions and the experiments that, totally flop, because that's where the real learning happens. And maybe most importantly, you have to constantly reinforce that no idea is too small. Every single huge innovation started as a tiny little spark.
Okay, so we've got the mindset down. We've created the right environment. Now for the really fun part. Let's pivot from these concepts to some concrete, real-world actions. What does this actually look like day to day?
This is where the rubber really meets the road. First, you've got hands-on projects and workshops. This is huge because it makes learning stick. Students aren't just reading about something, they're actually building it. Second, real-world problem solving. This gives their work a real purpose. They're not just solving for X in a textbook, they're designing a better way to handle recycling at their school. And third, and this one's a game changer, cross-disciplinary collaboration. Think about it. When you get an artist, a coder, and a business student in the same room working on the same problem, the solution they come up with is going to be so much richer and more interesting than what any one of them could have dreamed up alone.
Now, all these tools and activities are fantastic, but they work best when you have the right human element in the mix. And that brings us to the support system, good old-fashioned mentorship.
And look, this isn't some one-size-fits-all check-the-box program. Real, true mentorship is built on a genuine, personal connection. It's about taking the time to understand that every single student is on their own unique creative path.
So a mentor's job isn't to just hand out all the answers. Not at all.
It's to ask those really powerful questions, to offer guidance that's tailored to that specific person, and to encourage them to reflect and assess their own work. They're like the guide on the side, cheering on each student's totally unique journey.
So what happens when you put it all together? The vision, the framework, the action plan, the support system. What's the end result? What's the big payoff here?
The outcome is what you could call a future-ready mindset. Students don't just walk away with a cool project. They leave with much deeper critical thinking skills, they have proven problem-solving abilities, and maybe the most important thing of all, resilience. That grit to face a tough challenge, maybe fail, and then have the courage to get back up and try again. And honestly, this isn't just for students or teachers. This is really a call to action for every single one of us. Your journey starts right now. Embrace the things that make you unique, learn to communicate your ideas, create things without fear, and work with others to make those ideas even better.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It really does capture the whole spirit of this. It takes that spark of curiosity to see the world a little differently, and then it takes courage to actually do something about it. That's innovation in a nutshell.
So we're going to leave you with this question. Now that you've seen this framework for turning ideas into reality, what's that one unique idea that you are going to bring to life? Because the whole journey really does start with just that one single step.